My name is AB Ridgeway, and this is another episode of the Ridgeway Report. Today, I'm super excited, one, because I have my Grambling gear on, which is my alma mater. Shout out to Grambling State University. Also, I have my handy dandy calculator because we are going to go over some calculations because I'm going to teach you how to pick the right investments to save for a future gift. This is going to keep us focused, and this is going to actually give us some financial freedom. Too many times I see investors, they worry about their neighbor. He's making 20% or 25%. Well, he may be taking too much risk for what you want to accomplish. You may want to be saving for a wedding, maybe for a college education, or maybe a car for your grandchild, or maybe an adult child. Well, these are going to be ways that you can reduce your risk by picking the investment that's going to yield the return that you need. No more, no less. So let's go over the scenario really quickly. Now, let's say that you want to give a $60,000 gift. You want to do a down payment for a mortgage, or maybe your daughter has gotten married and you want to give her a gift. If she stays married for 12 years, you're going to pay $60,000 on her mortgage to help her pay off her home as a thank you for being in a committed relationship. Now, you have $15,000 in a savings account. Now, after running some calculations for your income and expenses, you've realized that you can pull maybe about $500 every 3 months. And you're wondering, Mr. Ridgeway, what type of investment should I invest in order to get that return? Because you know that investing it in your savings account, getting 0.1 is not enough. 10 cents every 3 or 4 months is not going to get you to the goal, and you know that. So you come to me and say, Mr. Ridgeway, what do I need to return? And guess what I do? I pull out my handy dandy calculator and we go to town. So let's do this. What I like to do, I always like to clear my calculator. I have the HP 10B2 Plus. I always let you know what calculator I have. Learn your calculator. So this is my calculator. I'm not sponsored by them. They didn't send this to me. They should have, but I've been in the industry for over a decade, and this has gotten me through a lot of long nights, answered a lot of questions, and actually responsible for a lot of the plaques that are on the wall, whether it's my master's, my certified private wealth advisor designation, my enrolled agent designation. This calculator has gotten me through that. So with that said, it is one of the most accurate calculators out there, according to me. All right, so let's start punching some of this stuff in. So we have our present value, like how much money we have now, which is going to be our present value with 15,000 here. It's present value. Then we know that we're going to need $60,000 in the future. And just for reference, once again, if you've seen any of my other videos, there's a time value of money calculation line that's at the very top that I'm using, and it has some of these icons here. I've done all the math here on the side for you there, so you can see that. So our future value is 60,000, and then our time period, even though it says 12 years from today, so let's say you're saving for college education, your kid may be 6, or you're saving for that down payment, 10 years from now, it's 12. But how many times are we going to make that payment in a year period? We're going to make that 4 times because every 3 months, right? So we have to multiply it by 4. And this is where a lot of people mess up their calculations at. Well, we have 48 periods here. So let's put that as n. And then we need to figure out the interest rate, but we also need to add in our payment amount, which we said that we are willing to put in $500 every 3 months. And that's going to be the PMT. That's going to be the payment. And then we need to solve for the interest rate. So what interest rate do we need? Well, we're going to need 1.2573. Now, you may be thinking, well, that's really low. I could just get a fixed income product, 1.25. That's very simple. I'm set. No, that's where having a financial advisor comes in hand. So if you get a little confused right now, make sure you schedule a consultation with me so I can run over some of this math with you. But this is not all the way correct, because we are having 4 periods in a year. This is what you need to accrue in 1 period, but we have to multiply that by 4. So the real number is 5.0292 or 5.03, however you want to put that. Now, this is going to be our baseline. This is assuming that if the market yields 5.03 every year for the next 12 years, you're going to have 60,000. That's how the math works. But the market's not like that unless you have a fixed product, once again, where you're guaranteed 5.03. If that's the case, you can put that money in a fixed product. You're going to get paid consistently. After 12 years, you take the money out, you have your money. You're really good to go. It's kind of hard to find that now, but there may be something out there. Understand that the less risk that you take, the less interest you're going to make. So the idea here is that if we're trying to achieve 5%, there may be some risk that we're going to have to take, but we don't have to take 10% risk or 12% risk or 13% risk, because what people think is that, well, if I have 5% and I see a product that's 10%, I'm taking twice as much risk to get the 10%. That's not true. Sometimes in investing, you could take 2, 3, 4, or 5 times the risk in order to just make 1% more. So the inherent risk in an investment is not by the interest rate, the 5% versus the 6%. It's inherent in the asset in which you're investing in. And that's a whole nother conversation, but I just want to let you know that, because a lot of people will run out to the market, go get something for 7%, trying to have a cushion, and they end up risking their whole investment trying to chase an additional 1 or 2%. That's why having a financial advisor is so important, and schedule your consultation before you make those kind of difficult decisions that may hurt you in the long run. So just as a reminder, this future gift right here, we need 5.02. We will reevaluate this every year as we approach. So some years you may get 7%, some years you may get 2%. Doesn't mean it's a bad investment. We just need to average out that 5.03. Now, there is a thing called a sequence of return. That's why we need to run the recalculations every year so we can determine some of those differences. But also, inflation may affect what you're going to do. But in this case, we just want $60,000. We don't really care about inflation. If we want to buy $60,000 worth of house or $60,000 worth of car in today's dollars, we would have to factor in inflation, but that is a whole nother conversation. What I am just trying to teach you today is, how do you figure out a future gift based on contributions and how much you have in the account. So I hope I didn't lose you. If I did, you can play this over, run the calculations yourself. If you have a financial calculator, you can go get one. You can follow along with me, or you could just say, Mr. Ridgeway, I like what you're talking about. I get it. I need to schedule a consultation and talk to you, because there's some things I want to talk about as far as giving a gift, or there's some things that I want to purchase, whether it's paying off the remainder of a home or buying some rental property or maybe a new car. I mean, you get into your new car, you love it, and you know you're going to need a new one in about 10 years. Start saving now. So when that time comes, you don't have to take out another loan. You could pay straight in cash. Okay. So once again, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You're going to hear me say that over and over again, because that's what financial planning is all about. It's about setting those goals, making sure that we're saving the money in enough time that we have time to make mistakes, changes, things that are inside and outside of our control, and make sure that we retire and we accomplish our goals successfully and happily. Well, that's it for me. My name is A.B. Ridgeway, and this has been another episode of the Ridgeway Report. Make sure you subscribe and like, because it helps with the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.